In the court of public opinion, a single story can make you or completely break you. But here's the thing. When every story has two sides, how do you even begin to know what's real?
All right, let's just dive right into one of the most jaw-dropping celebrity accusations I think we've seen all year. We're talking about two massive stars, a tell-all book, and a claim that, if it's true, well, it changes everything we thought we knew.
Okay, wow. That is an absolutely explosive claim coming from Kevin Federline's new book. He's alleging that he walked in on his wife at the time, Britney Spears, using cocaine while she was breastfeeding their kids. He even says it was this surreal moment where they weren't even trying to hide it. So, as you can imagine, this accusation has just lit a wildfire online. People are completely split. So let's break down the two totally opposite stories that are coming out of this whole he said, she said mess.
And this is where it gets really interesting. So on one side, you've got Federline with this very specific, incredibly damaging accusation. He's framing it as the moment their marriage was just over. But Britney, she's taking a totally different approach. She doesn't even touch the specific claim. Instead, she goes right for his motives, calling it gaslighting, trying to make her feel like she's crazy, and says it's just a pathetic attempt to make a quick buck off her name. It's a classic move. Attack the person telling the story, not the story itself.
And here's where it gets even more complicated, because there's history here. Now, to be clear, sources say nothing ever actually came from those official child welfare checks at her house way back when. But a story like this, it rips open all those old wounds and brings those same questions right back to the surface for everyone to debate all over again.
Which brings us to our next point, the blame game. It's not always the exes who are out there shaping these public stories. Sometimes celebrities are the ones crafting the narrative themselves to explain away their pasts.
That was Jennifer Lopez in a recent interview. And, listen to that. She's got a pretty simple explanation for why all her famous relationships didn't work out. It wasn't her. It was them. Every single one of them, apparently, was just incapable of loving her. Isn't that just a really strange thing for a celebrity to say out loud?
But, as the INV team host pointed out, that line of thinking brings up some pretty big questions. After a long history of relationships with all kinds of different men, from Mark Anthony to A-Rod, you gotta ask, is it really possible the problem is always the other person? Or is there one common denominator in all of those breakups? So is this a real moment of self-empowerment, or is it just a really convenient way to avoid taking a hard look in the mirror?
So while those battles are playing out in magazines and interviews, a totally different story shows just how fast words can have huge, life-changing consequences. And stay till the end, there's something really surprising waiting for you.
Okay, so picture this. It all started out as just typical sports stuff, right? A Dodgers game versus the Brewers. Fans are getting loud, talking some trash, you know how it is. But then things took a really, really dark turn.
And that was the moment everything just went off the rails. The Brewers fan, seeing the Dodgers fan she was arguing with was Latino, decided to turn her words into a weapon. The most toxic weapon she could think of. And the consequences? They were fast and they were brutal.
Just look at this timeline. It shows you exactly how fast a public story can destroy your life in the digital age. In just a matter of days after that video went viral, boom, she lost her job. Then she was off the board of a major charity, and then she was banned from the stadium for good. A few hateful words, caught on camera, and pretty much everything was gone.
So let's just step back for a second. We've looked at three totally different situations here. We've got a bitter fight between exes, a celebrity defending her entire relationship history, and a random viral moment of hate that had instant, life-altering consequences. And what all this really shows us is that today, everyone has a story to tell, and anybody can become the villain in someone else's story in a heartbeat. The line between what's true and what people believe is true is getting blurrier and blurrier, and the actual facts can get totally lost in the fight. So at the end of the day, who really gets to decide what the truth is? The person with the loudest voice? The one with the most convincing story? Or maybe just the one with the viral video? What do you think? Would you act the same in this situation? If you agree with this topic or want more like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support motivates me to bring the best content for you.